Hello, 8th graders. Okay, this is talking about the rate of change in slope, and I'm going to try to not talk as much, but the rate of change is something you guys have been doing all last year, so this should be very familiar. But we're going to actually start calling it slope this year. Your rate of change in slope, you're going to find from a table, a graph, and 2 points. Tomorrow, you're going to actually find the slope from equations, but today we're just going to focus on these three. First of all, the rate of change is something you guys, like I said, have been doing since last year. So remember in a table, the rate of change, let's look at this. The rate of change is constant in the table. So that's important to know so I don't have to test it to see if it's going up by the same amount each time or going down by the same amount. We're going to find the rate of change, and we're going to explain what the rate of change means for this situation. Well, we have days, and then we have amount of dollars. So our days is really our X value, and our cost is really our Y value. Typically in an ordered table, the first column is your X, your second column is your Y. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this term, but we're going to find the change of Y over the change of X. This symbol is delta, and that means the change of. So the change of Y over the change of X. So how is the Y being changed? Well, it's going up by 25, so it's increasing by 25. And this, how it's changed? Well, it's only increasing by 1. So we're going to do our 25 over our X, which is 1. So our slope is 25. What that means, it says explain what it means. It means that in one day, so in one day, it's costing us $25. Okay? So in one day, or each day, whatever it is that's costing in one day, the cost is $25. I don't know what the scenario is. The cost is $25. So each day is $25. I should really put each. Okay, now this one. So again, finding the change of Y over the change of X. So go ahead and pause me as you find that. Okay, so your change of Y is 116 over 2, and that reduces down to 58. So what that means is, always reduce your slope if you can, but if it's an improper fraction, like 3 halves, leave it 3 halves. Don't change it to a 1 1/2. So 58, so what that means is in 1 hour, they travel 58 miles, or each hour. Each hour, the distance traveled is 58 miles. You gotta get really good about explaining what it means. No one's ever going to come up to you and say, what's the slope? They're going to want to know this information, and that's how you're going to find it. Well, in each hour, the distance travels 58 miles, or you can travel 58 miles each hour, however you want to state it. Now, a graph. You've got to be careful in your graph and explain what the rate of change means. You probably, I don't know, you probably have heard of the rise over the run. That is the change of Y. So that's the change of Y over the change of X. It's the same thing. But rise over run only makes really any sense when you're working with a graph, not a table. So what we need to do is the rise over the run, so the change of Y. Now, first of all, I look at the graph. Look to see where you can really tell where it intersects. Here for sure, that's your y-intercept. But then I look again to see where I can tell another ordered pair right here. So here's a place, and probably right there. It's right at the end, but I bet that's 1 too. So we can go rise. This is the rise over the run. Okay, and it wants us to explain what this means. So it's the height of a balloon, there's seconds, and this is the height in 1,000 feet. You got to be careful with that. So if we go up, this 1 to 2, that's going up 1 over 30. Okay, so your slope is 1/30th, but what the heck does that mean? It means that this balloon rises now 1,000 feet every 30 seconds. That's what that means. So knowing how to interpret is very important. So let's test it. Well, in another, so in 2,000 feet and 60 seconds. So that makes sense. Okay. All right. So go ahead and do number 4. I'm not even going to spend the time doing number 4 with you. So go ahead and do number 4. 5 through 9. 5 through 9, this is the rise over the run. So you want to, if it's in a graph form, I would go ahead and just count. The thing is, there are 4 types of slopes. Positive, I want you to write this down, 4 types of slopes. 4 types of slope. 4 types of slope. So positive, from left to right, if it's going up, from left to right it's going up, that's positive. If it's going down, it's negative. If it's going across like this, that's 0. And if it's going vertical, that's undefined. So if you ever see, if you just have to classify the type of slope it is, if it's positive, negative, 0, undefined, just look at the lines and which way they're going. It's always from left to right. If left to right's going up, it's positive. If left to right's going down, it's negative. Horizontal, 0. Vertical is undefined. So looking at this, that is, right away, it's a negative slope. So don't worry about it too much. I just say, okay, it's negative. And then this is a little hard to see, so it's a lot of these dots. But count the spaces. How far down, how far over. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, till it gets parallel. So 6 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a negative 6/7. So it says the rise or the run, go up or down on the top, bottom. Now you can't really interpret this because it doesn't give us the situation. So go ahead and do 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now watch 8 and 9. You can pick any of them. It doesn't tell us where the points are. That doesn't matter. You can pick anything. Actually, hopefully you can just recognize it straight across because you're not going up or down at all. So you're going 0 over whatever. I mean, like 3, 4, 5. Doesn't really matter what your denominator is because that's going to be a 0 slope. So be able just to recognize it. If it's horizontal, it's 0. This, what's happening is that it's rising. I don't know. Just pick 2 points. It's rising like this point and this point, 2. But is it running? No. This is why it's undefined. You cannot have a 0 in your denominator. Plus, there's no way you can climb a hill or anything without any aid, climb a wall, with straight up and down. So this is just undefined. So be able to recognize them just by sight, that that's 0 and that's undefined. Okay? All right, now 2 points. With the 2 points, I'm just going to do one of them for you and then you can do the rest. But watch your integers. Watch how you do this. Here's these points. I don't want you to have to graph them on a coordinate plane to figure out the slope. It is, your slope formula is your y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. What that means, all those sub numbers mean is that the position. Here's your first ordered pair. This is x sub 1, this is y sub 1. This is x sub 2, and this is y sub 2. It's the same thing as a table. So what you're doing is finding the difference, but you have to do your y terms on top. So you do negative 8 minus 3 over 4 minus a negative 5. Watch your increments and watch your signs with this, you guys. Be really careful with this. And don't use a calculator. I expect you to know how to do this without using a calculator. Negative 8 minus 3, those are 2 negatives. You're subtracting. So it's a negative 11 over 4 minus a negative 5 is saying 4 plus 5, which is 9. So your slope is a negative 11/9. Leave it that way. Don't change it to an improper fraction. Or excuse me, mixed number. Leave it as an improper fraction. Okay, let's just go ahead and do one more. Negative 7 minus negative 8 over 2 minus negative 3. Negative 7 minus a negative 8, 2 minus a negative 3. You have to go the same direction, y over your x. Okay, so add the opposite. That's going to be a positive 1. 2 plus 3 is going to be 5, so that's going to be a positive 1/5. Okay, if you're not for sure if you actually did it right, then after you've done them with your signs, take coordinate grids, take a whiteboard or whatever, plot the points, and then count and see if your answer comes out to the same that you're getting. But really watch your increments. All right, your job is to finish these points and then also finish this page 176. Okay, and all of this will be due on Wednesday. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.